Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the LOG Show here on YouTube. I am your host, Logan, and boy, is there so much to talk about in the sports world going on today. Not just today, just yesterday, tomorrow, 9 days. So much going on. Starting with what I love to talk about, which is the NFL. I already had a whole show dedicated to the Knicks making the finals, so I'm not going to open the show with that today. As game one is on Wednesday, as you guys can see, I'm pretty hyped for that. But the new NFL league year has begun, and it has begun with a bang. Obviously, the biggest news of June 1st was Myles Garrett getting traded to the Los Angeles Rams for Jared Verse, an abundance of picks. That I'm going to talk about. I'm going to grade both sides of that, tell you what I feel about that whole trade. NFL's worst kept secret of A.J. Brown going to the Patriots has finally come true. A.J. Brown is officially a New England Patriot as the Eagles receive a few picks for him. He goes back to his the man who coached him his rookie year in Mike Vrabel. So that is great to see finally there. And the biggest news in football of around here in New York, everybody thought it was just rumored. He was just maybe going to be a consultant, just hang around the locker room with the boys. But no, it is official. The Giants make 3 moves yesterday, signing Braxton Berrios, Juju Smith-Schuster, and bringing back the prodigal son of New York when he was here. Odell Beckham Jr. will be a New York Giant next season, and it is scratching everyone's nostalgia bone, hitting everyone's itch in the correct way. And man, is that not good to see? Is that just not good to see that he's back, man? I forgot to get the chat up here, so as I do that, but yeah, I mean, OBJ is back. Obviously, Knicks game 1 tomorrow. I am so excited to... I'm so excited to... for the Knicks game 1 tomorrow night. Stanley Cup is tonight. Yankees are on a 7-game win streak. But yeah, I mean, so much going on around sports. World Cup is in 9 days. I can't wait for that one. The World Cup is in 9 days, everybody. So that is going to be so fun. I cannot wait. Sorry, I forgot. I can't see the chat. I'm trying to get in for the chat for everyone to see. If you guys are listening over on Spotify, always come check out the YouTube. We got a lot of fun over here. We got a lot of fun going on over here. I'm just letting you guys know that. At least I think it's a lot of fun. But as I pull up the chat here, I mean, yeah. I'll start with just my first thoughts. I mean, I'll get right into it with the June 1st stuff in football. I want to open up the show with that, obviously. Like I said, we've Stanley Cup game 1 tonight. World Cup's 9 days away, but NFL is taking over the news as of June 1st, and that is because of the Myles Garrett trade. As he gets traded to the Los Angeles Rams for Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round pick, a 2028 second-round pick, and a 2029 third-round pick. And, I mean, I truly believe that this is just one of those trades that when you look at it, there's no way that anybody can argue that... There's no way that anyone can really argue that this was an even trade for both sides. When I think it through, right? and you think of it from the perspective of the Rams, obviously, right? When you think of it that way, and you think of it in the perspective of the Los Angeles Rams, what they have done is magical. What they've done is they made the NFC Championship last year, and they went out and Stan Kroenke has stood by what he said all those years ago when they won with Aaron Donald and they won with that team when Matt Stafford first came there. And they came out and said, F them picks. Fuck them picks, bro. I think everyone remembers in the parade, the dude wore a shirt with his face on it that said, fuck them picks. So, like, by no means did they not stand by what they're doing. They got rid of three picks that are within the first 3 rounds, and they're attacking to go win now. Like I said, they are a team that were in the NFC Championship last year. They were a team that many thought were going to win the NFC Championship last year. You had Matt Stafford playing at an MVP level, and he continues to do so. And now what you do is you prove to him that at the 12 overall pick, yes, did we pick Ty Simpson, Matt? But what we told you when picking Ty Simpson was this. We're still in the mindset to win now. We just know where you are in your career, and we're not expecting to be close to this 12th overall pick again. So we want to take advantage of it while it's there. But when you look at it from the perspective of the Rams, you're gonna go win now with this team, and that's what you're supposed to do, is go win now with this team as the Los Angeles Rams. That when you have Matt Stafford, there was a picture that went was all over Instagram and social media yesterday, that it was like, now the Rams have the touchdown pass leader, the receptions leader, the receiving touchdowns leader, the sack leader, and one other big, maybe it was, I don't know if it was interceptions. I can't remember what the last stat was, but all on the team. And it's true. This team is absolutely stacked, and that's what they needed to go do. Now, when we flip the perspective and you look at it from the perspective of the Cleveland Browns, where the Cleveland Browns are right now, there's no room for Myles Garrett. Hence why he wanted a trade last year. You know, when you look at right now where this Cleveland Browns team is with players like, Quinshon Judkins, who's developing into a number 1 running back. You have you drafted Fannin last year, who's playing great. You just went out and had this exceptional young draft class. You have Shador or maybe Deshaun Watson, whoever you choose to be your quarterback, depending on how Deshaun Watson plays this year. Saying that he still has a chance is baffling to me. But when you look at where the Cleveland Browns are as a franchise, there's no spot for a 30-year-old player who is, yes, at the peak of his career. Right now, Myles Garrett is at the peak of his prime. He's playing better than he ever has. He just set the NFL sack record on the Cleveland Browns. This is a dude who just set the NFL sack record on a team that was bottom 5 in dropbacks against. His team was bottom 5 in the league in seeing pass plays, in seeing dropbacks. And Myles Garrett still just set the NFL record for sacks. Imagine how many more opportunities he's going to have now in a defense that, 1, is stacked. And not only 2 is this defense stacked, now he just has the opportunity where in Cleveland he wasn't impacting. As much as he was impacting the game, he wasn't necessarily impacting wins and losses. Against the New England Patriots this year, they lost by 16, 17. They lost by 17 or 19. And Myles Garrett had 4 sacks. He had 4 sacks. He had 4 sacks against that New England Patriots team. And they lost by 19. Or 7 or whatever it was, double digits. He wasn't really fully impacting wins and losses for the Cleveland Browns. Now, for the Cleveland Browns, what you do is you go get 3 picks. You now have another first-round pick next year. You have another second-round pick in 2028. You have an extra third-round pick in 2029, right? And you also have a 25-year-old pass rusher who they're thinking in their head, that was the big kicker of this deal. It's not like you saw the sentiment on social media and everything leading up to this. It's not like the Browns were shopping Myles Garrett. It's not like they kept a good secret and the league didn't let it get out and they were shopping Myles Garrett. They wanted this trade. This one stood out for them, at least this offer. I think obviously they were taking offers because they knew that Myles wasn't happy, but I think that this offer stood out to them because of the development possibility of Jared Verse. This is a guy who is a 2-time Pro Bowler in 2 years in the NFL. He won Defensive Rookie of the Year. And the Cleveland Browns genuinely probably believe in that front office that he is going to develop into the next Myles Garrett. So in a situation where you can get rid of what you have now in Myles Garrett for somebody who could potentially be that next one up, when you're a team that's not in a win now mentality, so go get the next one up. So when you're ready to win now, he is ready and you can go pay him when he's ready. That is what you're supposed to do as the Cleveland Browns. And that's what they went and go did. And I do think on both sides of this trade, when you look at it, that both teams have won this trade and made an exceptional deal for trying to win in the situation that they're in. The Cleveland Browns made an exceptional deal to set themselves up to help win for the future, help win in the future. Not win now, but win in a few years. And getting a young stud in Jared Verse, who has proven that he is a top 10 pass rusher already in this league. He has proven that he can go out there and make impact plays, but he's only 25. He's young. But he's a Defensive Rookie of the Year. And from the Rams' perspective, fuck them picks. We're that close. We're that close. What am I doing? Like, what am I doing if I'm that close? Why am I waiting another year to get hopefully this guy in 2027? No, go get Myles Garrett. Go get the dude who just broke the NFL sack record. I think it's that. I think that part is pretty obvious. I mean, that wasn't the only move that was made. The other move was just obvious, and I think we all knew that it was coming up because they also gave up a first-round pick in in New England. They gave up a 2028 first-round pick and a 2027 fifth. Let me double check my notes. Yeah. So 2028 first round pick, 2027 fifth round pick for A.J. Brown to go to New England. Again, I felt like this was the worst kept secret in the NFL, but I think a lot of people are overreacting to this trade, at least on the internet. I think the talking heads, as I like to call them, or as people like to call them because I am one of them. I can't call them that anymore. I am a talking head now, as much as it's to my 1 to 2 viewers or 10 people who view after, however many people choose to listen to me or end up coming across this show. I am a talking head now. That's all I do is talk. But back to what I mean is I think that when watching ESPN and everything this morning and last night after an NFL Network and all that, and reading some articles online and seeing the sentiment around the sports media world around A.J. Brown, I think I agree with a lot of what the analysts and people who get paid a lot more money to do what I do for a living said, and that's the fact that we can't necessarily crown this trade such a big move for the New England Patriots yet. Yes, do they go get a bona fide number one receiver? They're reunited with Mike Vrabel, who has had A.J. Brown succeed in an offense with him before. A Tennessee Titans team that is also going to be now coordinated, or not a Tennessee, sorry. I don't know why I thought of the Tennessee Titans one because I got confused in my head. Back to what I meant. But New England Patriots team with Josh McDaniel, who continues to get top-tier talent out of people who come into New England consistently. You now have a receiving class or a receiving core of A.J. Brown and Romeo Doubs and Kayshon Boutte. So you have a few pieces there that it's going to be interesting to see. But this is not a New England team to put right back in the Super Bowl yet necessarily when you look at the landscape of how they played last year and what happened last year and what has been going on with the New England Patriots. First starters, right? Vegas has New England Patriots over under at 9.5. As many people think that they're going to be this 11-win team, the book is usually not very off when it comes to this stuff, and they have them at 9.5. They have the sixth hardest schedule in the NFL compared to when they had the easiest schedule in the NFL last year. They are a team that is not necessarily, like I said, a shoo-in to be as dominant as they were last year. So it's going to be interesting to see how, this offensive line can step up. And on that, too, it's not like, I think we're all very aware of this, but it's not like the New England Patriots have had this chillax, non-news filled offseason. They've had a pretty stressful offseason when it comes to their head coach has been in the media consistently for different things, and it all ended up blowing up into a big, gigantic cheating scandal with an NFL reporter that was very well known in Diana Rossini. So when you look at those situations that have gone on with the New England Patriots, the rumor of A.J. Brown being a Patriot for months and months and months, this has not been a quiet offseason in New England. There's been a lot of noise going up there into them going into one of the highest pressure seasons for Vrabel and Drake May and that entire offense probably since Brady left. If we're going to really look at the New England Patriots as a whole, the season coming up for the New England Patriots they have the most pressure on them that they have had since Tom Brady was the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots. Since Bill Belichick was the head coach for the New England Patriots. This is the most pressure that we have seen on this New England Patriots team. So, with my chair squeaking and everything as I talk to you guys, I don't know that the addition of A.J. Brown to this receiving core is going to necessarily push this New England Patriots team to even better lengths than they were last year. I think they're still at the point of really, if you break it down and you look at what's going on in New England, this is a year where I believe they're going to take a reset, more likely or not. This is a year that I feel more likely or not that the New England Patriots are going to have to take a step back because they're just going to be playing better opponents. And maybe I'm wrong. I was wrong on the New England Patriots last year. I thought that last year that they were going to be that they were a year out, that this year coming up was going to be the year. I felt like that about the Denver Broncos as well. And I was incorrect. I was. So I could be incorrect here about the New England Patriots, and the addition of A.J. Brown could be that much for them. The addition of A.J. Brown could be the piece that pushes them over the hump and pushes them past what happened in Seattle or against Seattle in the Super Bowl last year. But I don't think he is. I don't. I think we're going to see a Buffalo team that's going to be a lot better than they were last year. I think we're honestly going to see a Jets team that was a lot better than they were last year. I think we're going to see a Dolphins team that's a lot chippier and wants to prove a lot more than maybe the team of last year. So I think when you look at the positioning of the New England Patriots, they made a leap here for A.J. Brown to try to go be that piece that's going to get them past the hump. And I think I'm not completely confident that they're in the spot and as good as many people may think they are going into this season. I think when you look at it, people say that the catchphrase, the hunter has now become the hunted. They're not this team that's going to sit there and shock the world this year. People know about the New England Patriots. People know about the town of Drake May. People know about the town of A.J. Brown. People know about the town of Romeo Dobbs. People know about the talent of that offensive line. People know about the talent of the New England Patriots defense. People know about this Patriots team now. You're not a team that some people may think are a year out. You have arrived. And not only have you arrived, you are the former AFC champions. You're now going to have to go through Buffalo again with a target on your head because you dethroned them for division champs, if I remember correctly. And even if not, you made the AFC championship again. Then they didn't. The Denver Broncos, you got a target on your head against them. If you play the Houston Texans, target on your head. When you play any team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, target on your head. Any team that even feels like they can contend in their own locker room, you're the target for those AFC teams. It's not just Seattle who won the Super Bowl. You're a target. And does A.J. Brown get you to the point of being able to consistently dodge those bullets? I don't think he does. I think he improves your team. Again, I think, right? I think your receiving core did improve, ironically enough, as I'm saying this. I think the receiving core did improve when you looked at they got rid of Stephon Diggs back in March, and that made the room that I think everybody kind of knew A.J. Brown was going to be a New England Patriot. So people started planning it out and thinking about it. So did the New England Patriots. They brought in Romeo Dobbs as well. They have a few pieces there that can, you have Travion Henderson in the backfield. You have some pieces there, New England, some young pieces as well. But I think that they might get a little bit of a slap in the face coming up this season, just with such a big target on their back, with such a giant weight on their shoulders going into this upcoming season. That's just how I feel it's going to. When the dust settles, could I be wrong? Could A.J. Brown be the one piece, be the 1,000-yard receiver that the Patriots need him to be to go take that next step to really dominate some teams in the playoffs and really show that they're a dominant force in the league again? It's possible because they did it last year without it. But that was with the easiest schedule in the league. That was you matching up against three teams that happen to play man-to-man coverage that Drake May excels against. You know what I mean? And those are some of the teams that are going to have a target on your head. You know what I mean? I keep saying you know what I mean. I apologize, guys. But back to what I was saying. Those are some of the teams that are going to have a target on your head when you have the Houston Texans and you have the Denver Broncos and you have the I'm blanking on a few of the other teams that I had that play man-to-man coverage. But those bigger teams in the AFC tend to play man-to-man coverage, and Drake May is very exceptional against man-to-man coverage. Has very, very good numbers against man-to-man coverage, and that is part of the reason why they were able to go on that playoff run as well, was because he excels against those types of defenses. But as the point I can keep going back to is this one, is last year was not a fluke. I'm not going to say that. I think the New England Patriots can win up to 11 games. But I think there's a reason Vegas has them at 9.5. And I think that reason is because the schedule is a lot more difficult. And this year might be a little bit of a slap in the face to the New England Patriots. And they might take a small step back. You know what I mean? Sometimes, said it again. But sometimes you have to take one step forward or one step back to take two steps forward. And with the improvement of schedule, I think that will make the New England Patriots team tougher. I think if they could squeeze into the playoffs, they're a team that, due to the harder schedule, if they get to the point of playing in the NFL playoffs, that they will be a scary team that is poised and possible for a Super Bowl run. But I don't think this team is necessarily going to be as dominant as we saw last year. And that's just my opinion. That is just how I feel about A.J. Brown to the Patriots. But yeah, someone's home though. Somebody is back home, and this is a man that a lot of people are happy about. So I do want to say congratulations to the New York Giants on signing former New York Jet Braxton Berrios and bringing him back to New York. Good job, Giants. You know, a lot of New Yorkers missed Braxton Berrios and needed... No, I'm joking. Odell Beckham Jr. is a New York Giant once again, folks, signing a one-year deal yesterday and making, honestly, Giants fans' hopes and dreams come true. They all wanted it to happen. It was talked about on WFAN by so many different people every single day, and it has finally happened. Odell Beckham Jr. is a New York Giant. He is back in the uniform, under contract for the New York Giants. Gonna wear number 13, hopefully, again there in New York. Gonna get Jalen Hyatt with these moves. I mean, Braxton Berrios is another move that they did make, and I think Braxton Berrios is the better move over Odell Beckham Jr. And Juju Smith-Schuster, because I see where you fit Braxton Berrios in with your kick returner tearing his Achilles and more likely or not being out for the season. You now needed a kick returner. Braxton Berrios fits that role exceptionally well, but also Odell Beckham Jr., Juju Smith-Schuster, I guess those are maybe your wide receiver twos. I mean, I guess that's who's battling for that spot. Obviously, you have Neighbors,